Good morning, everybody. Rodney here. East Coast Thrills, good morning. Mad Props Media, good morning. Giggles, good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. It's another Saturday morning. It's kind of rainy weather outside. In fact, if you were on my sunrise, it wasn't much of a sunrise. We did get some pretty color, but shortly after I came down, in fact, almost a minute after I came down, it started raining. Not hard, but it started raining. So I was able to at least finish the sunrise stream. Anyway, we've got B-Rad, Alston, River City RVA in the house, Hot Rod, Johnny Drone Flyer. How did you get sun, Brad, when I don't? That's not right, man. You guys in Richmond needs to share the sun up here in Berkeley Beach. My God. Anyway, so, but anyway, while we're waiting for people to come in, Johnny Drone Flyer is I don't know if he mentioned it in the chats, but he's they're packing up and heading home today. He may pop in for a couple of minutes. Good morning, John. How are you doing, my friend? Dusty? Well, I would love to, tell you the truth, Dusty. I would love to. But anyway, so been a busy week for me. Philip.
Good morning. What's up?
Oh,
I know.
Oh, are you sick?
Looks like I got some kind of disease.
It does.
Hey, are you live? I'm looking.
Yeah, I'm live.
Okay. Let's see. Yep, there it is. Okay. It didn't. I just had to refresh it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Let me cut. There we go. Cut the volume down. Done. So, how are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty good, brother. How about yourself?
Sore.
Sore, huh?
Yeah, I took off yesterday to work at mother-in-law's.
Hey, Dennis.
Hey.
Morning, Dennis.
Dan, I think Chet is in the house.
Fantastic show this morning, Dennis.
Oh, thanks, Philip.
Pretty good.
I appreciate
Pretty
that.
Good.
Thanks. I got off to a really, really bad start. There were like, I don't know, out of 15 requests, I could do about 2 or 3 songs. So the numbers might not have been quite that bad, but they were close. And I mean, more than usual.
Well, you did some songs this morning that I never heard you do.
And I did some that I've never done before, you know.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, some of them I had never done, not even practiced. So, and you can tell. You can tell which ones those are.
Oh man! Well, when you started singing Super Freak, that's when the power started flickering at the house.
Yeah, I know. I got to stop doing that acid rock stuff, but yeah, people love it so much.
I hear you.
Yeah, especially on the ukulele. Acid rock and ukulele; those two are made for one another.
We've got XM radio at all the branches. I put, years ago, I wanted to put in some kind of music at all the branches. I thought it'd be nice instead of a radio playing somebody else's commercial for another credit union. When you're standing there, you're going, okay, So I put XM radio in and everything, and then one of the executives walked into one of the branches and they were playing Milkshake. My milkshake.
I don't know this song.
It's kind of like the playing Baby Got Back. Something like that.
Yeah.
And he was like, he called me and he goes, we need to come up with a station list, of certain stations that they can listen to. And
Right.
I was like, okay, yeah, let me do that. So I had to do research and figure out all the channels that could be played and stuff. So now
Interesting. You've had so many jobs, so many interesting jobs and unusual.
Well, they worked on, when I first started with Alabama Telco 29 years ago, they came up with a list of all the jobs I had previous to that job. And they came up with a number of 28 jobs. And anything you can think of. I was even a DJ at Sammy's Go-Go off Valley Avenue for 6
Oh my
months.
goodness.
I've done
Wow.
landscaping, I've done plumbing, I've done carpentry, I've worked on computers.
But were you a dancer at Sammy's Go-Go?
No,
No.
So
there are some jobs that you haven't done.
Yeah, the tassels wouldn't fit on me, so it just wouldn't have worked. So, but I have been tipped before at Sammy's, so that's close. Rodney,
Hopefully, it wasn't the dollar bill in the pants thing. That's all I said.
No, it didn't happen that way. We did have, remember the returnable beer bottles, how heavy they were.
I remember Coke bottles being heavy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the beer bottles were about the same as a Coke bottle, but not the ridges and all that stuff. It was just smooth. Well, this guy came in and he sat down at the front of the stage area. Big burly guy, bald head, everything, and he was just like, yeah, and then he goes, and glass went everywhere.
Oh my.
And I was like, oh my. and so the bartender said, Philip, come to the stage. Come to the bar. I got up to the bar and she goes, you go tell him if he breaks one more ball over his head, we're kicking him out of here. And I said, I ain't telling him nothing. And then one of the girls, she slid over her little snub nose Ruger 22, little bitty 22.
Yeah.
And she goes, here you go, Philip, like that. And I say, this is going to tick him off. This is all that's going to do. So I ended up going up to him and I said, sir, and he goes, yeah. And I said, management has informed me to inform you that if you break one more bottle over your head, and he had a little bit of blood coming out and everything, if you break one more bottle over your head, that we're going to end up having to ask you to leave this establishment. Just real kind. And he goes, yeah. And I went, yes, sir. And he goes, I like you. How about sitting down and I'll have a beer with me? And I said, no, sir, I got to work and everything. And he goes, well, I really do appreciate you telling me these things, and I understand where you're coming from. And he says, and I'll try to, I came back. Rose says, what'd you say to him? I told him that I'm gonna kick his ass if he don't stop breaking balls over his head. And she goes, you did? And I said, yeah. And he understood. He didn't want no trouble from me. And I just strolled off. Oh, man. Rodney, wake up.
I'm awake. So I'm gonna share a photo Rod sent me of what he did with his rocket drone. What happened to it? So stand by a minute. But before I do that, there's some people I want to acknowledge. We got B-Rad in the house. We got Mad Props Media, Fine Media, Jack Rabbit FPV, East Coast Thrills, Giggles FPV, Dan, I Fix Shet, I said Mad Props Media, East Coast Thrills. Yeah, I guess I got everybody now.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, I think I got everybody. All right, let me share that picture now. This is one of the things that happens to you sometimes when you fly an FPV. He burnt something up for sure.
Uh-oh, what is this?
Uh-oh.
This is the flight controller. No. This looks like the ESC. Yeah, this is the ESC.
Yeah.
I was about to correct you, but decided not to.
Well, I'm glad you decided not to. You would have embarrassed me. Let's see here. He says the capacitor leg broke on landing and spiked the ESC. Oh, yeah, that would definitely cause a burn. Yep. So, and that's one of the things that we put up with when you fly FPV. I haven't had it happen to me yet, but
It's never happened to me either.
wow, Dennis, you're the lucky one.
I haven't crashed FPV.
Like I said, you're the lucky one.
Yeah. My wife says, "Why don't you get into that?" And I said, "Then I said you're going to be complaining when I do get into it because of the amount of money it takes to keep them going."
I've also never crashed a helicopter.
Well, now I can say I've never crashed a helicopter.
I have.
You always got to be different, don't you, Phil?
I've crashed a helicopter in the pasture next to the cows.
Oh boy.
Oh, well, you know,
Never
I crashed
a steamship.
A what?
A steamship.
Never crashed the same ship.
Is that Pink Floyd in your background, or is it just something very similar?
It's something very similar, but it does look like it.
It does.
For sure. Yeah. I don't want to show the garage today. It's still messy.
No, that's fine. Great.
But
I can't stay on very long, Rodney. But I wanted to join for a while, see what's up.
Glad you did.
Also to share, I've been concerned about Ronnie, because God bless America, because I haven't seen him in the chat for a few weeks, and so I sent him a message, and he did reply to the message saying that he's fine, he's just busy, so that's all good news. So.
Yeah, he texted me back too, because I texted him shortly after you did.
Oh, okay.
So
this 2025 has been an extremely busy year. Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So if the lead broke, where was the capacitor located? I wonder.
The capacitor, usually you have a capacitor where the power cable that you plug the battery into, you have the
capacitor is just a
right
short-term
there.
battery. Yeah.
You know, let me share that again, and I could probably explain it better.
I mean, isn't it glued on also? No,
it's soldered on. The leads are soldered. Usually, here's where your power leads are connected.
Okay.
And most people solder their capacitors right at this point as well.
Okay.
Are you pointing with something? I don't see it.
Oh. See, this is your positive power lead, and this is your negative power lead. Well, your capacitor is usually soldered right here.
Yeah, Because like I said, that's just a short-term battery.
But couldn't you turn that capacitor on top of the, what is that, the that QM70 or OM70, and just lay it
No,
on top of
that's
it?
not. I don't think that's the capacitor he's talking
No,
about.
no. I mean, you got a round capacitor. Could you lay it on top of it and glue it? That way it stays stable.
It could, but if the lead snaps, and if there's any tension on it, it could come in contact.
True. Yeah.
So, but this is probably one of those rare, freaky accidents that happened. It crashed, and the it may have crashed. The capacitor broke loose and moved forward a little bit. But
True.
yeah, if you have use some two-sided tape or something, or tape it up to keep it from moving, it would probably help prevent that. Okay, here's what Rod says about that. So this right here is the back side of the ESC, the bottom of it, you might say.
Yeah.
So the capacitor was on the other side.
Okay.
And he explains here, the pigtail pushed the cap and broke the leg.
Okay. Couldn't have been avoided then. I mean, it really couldn't. That makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was the back side of the board, but so.
Well, so it just made everything just basically over rev and burned it up, or?
No, it probably caused a short to ground, which probably blew up whatever component that is that's broken there. It looks like it might have been a cap, surface mount cap. Let me bring it up again. Okay, so you see this right here?
Yeah.
That's a surface mounted cap.
Okay.
And these are surface mounted resistors, I believe. And this over here.
Or is those diodes?
No, I think these right here, between these two caps.
Yeah.
Those two dark spots. I think those are the diodes.
Okay.
Because when I worked for Lowrance Electronics, we dealt a lot with this stuff.
We only need two. Most cases, you only have two diodes.
Well, yeah, but you're dealing with four separate. This
True.
is one ESC, so these three leads right here, up at the top.
Yeah.
That is one ESC.
Okay.
So that would be one motor, and then next to it is the other one, and then same on the other side.
Okay.
So there's probably a few more diodes than just that, but
True.
These other smaller ones here are resistors, I believe. I'm pretty sure they are. I mean, it's been a while since I've looked at one of these, but actually, I got one right here. So this is a flight controller. It's an all-in-one. So all your ESC and flight controllers on one single board. And these components are rather small. Wow. I just realized that. Anyway, I'm not even going to try and show you a resistor on that one. But so, anyway, Rod's doing a lot of explaining. So let's see here. That was unavoidable. However, ESC. Yeah, that's pretty much true too. All right, well, so, but yeah, those things happen.
I crashed on Wednesday at the office. We had a cookout, and I was flying the Vada 2 around and showing one of the executives. He was looking at my phone watching it, and I was up on the rooftop, and one of my props shattered. I crashed down in South Florida. When you remember that day we were flying that Sunday?
Yeah,
And ended up crashing in the parking lot.
right, and it
Bent the duck on it.
right.
Well, I got a heat gun and reshaped the duck back, but I guess I didn't reshape it back enough. It's a little dimple coming out. So when I started going this way, when I started coming back down, and I was coming back down at a high rate of speed, that prop, I guarantee, bent just a little bit, enough to clip it. And it shattered the prop on it.
Wow.
So I can share that video.
Sure, go ahead.
I
mean, I love to see people crash. You know, it's kind of like NASCAR.
Is that why you hang out with us, guys?
Yeah, the truth is out, I guess.
Oh man. All right. So I'm just basically just flying around I don't know if you can see it or not, Ronnie. There you go. So basically I'm just flying around the office, and the executive says, "Hey, can you get up to my window?" Go up to my window and everything. And I said, "Sure, hold on a second." And I said, "Nope, that's not your office. Hold on a minute. Let me cruise on over to your office." So I was showing him the office. And he says, "Can you get in a little bit closer?" And I said, "Yeah, hold on a minute." So he's right now, he's just going, "That is so cool." And he's also worried about people seeing his paperwork. And I said, "Don't worry about that." I said, "I can't read that paperwork." But this is how close I got to it. You can actually see me in the window.
Yep.
Gracious.
So then I went and flew the rooftop. He says, "I've never seen the roof before." And I said, "Hold on a minute." So I'm just flying around the roof, which I totally hate, because every month we got to go up there and blow off the roof and blow all the drains off. So I said, "Okay, I'll come back down this way." Okay, that tree's in my way, so let me go ahead and go over the tree. All right, let me just come on down and go forward at the same time, there's my mistake. Boom.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Tree.
Wow. So I take it it didn't get caught in the tree?
No.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked it went as far as it did. And he goes, he says, "How are you going to find it?" And I pressed my, F1 button, and it started beeping. And I said, "I'll be back in a little bit." So I went down in the woods, and there she was, just laying there. And of course, I looked at the prop, and I went, "Yep, it's the same duck that I fixed." So evidently, I need to bend it a little bit more.
Well, at least it was only the prop that broke.
True. I mean, that's true. Because right now, this is a replacement. Right now,
Oh, yeah.
I can't get I can't get another one. So there's a lot of, I don't know, with these tariffs and this and that and everything. I'm gonna sit back and just watch things flow, and I can't afford a new one right now.
Yeah.
So, but I was gonna go fly mother-in-law's house with it once we're this close. We've last thing we got to do is get a little bit of a roof replaced. About $2,300 of a roof replaced. But with all this rain, I don't know when they're gonna be able to do it. But
Yeah.
I finished up a bunch yesterday. I just went through my punch list and just went through and got everything done yesterday. And Angie came and cleaned the fireplace and cleaned up a little bit. So today I'm probably gonna fly the Mini 4 in there and just go ahead and bite the bullet and just fly it in there. I've flown inside before.
You can fly. Well, I'm trying to think. You have the Goggles 3, right?
Yeah,
You can fly the Mini 4 with the Goggles 3 and
I was thinking about that.
RC controller and so on. So that should work out great.
That should help me out tremendously. That way I'm focused, more focused.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good idea, Dennis. I'll try that.
So one of the drones I'm going to be working on today, it's this one right here. I took it and this is the Impulse RC Apex Dead Cat frame, and I've flown it before. In fact, the first GoPro that I broke was on this frame, and that was the one I broke when I was at Drone Bum's house. But anyway, I put in an 04 unit. That's why this is there. This was the adapter for it that I printed. I like that print. This is that Dennis. This is the bamboo TPU.
Oh, okay.
So it's a lot more rigid than normal TPU, but it seems to hold up well. But
the
anyway,
TPU for AMS you're talking about.
Yeah.
That is very rigid stuff.
Yeah. So, but it seems to be holding out well. So, and here's the 403 unit, air unit right here. But anyway, I've been having some trouble with it. The other day I took it out and I could see it jerking. It was, kind of going like this. I could see in the goggles. Well, I brought it in and I landed it, and then I found out that this motor right here would spin up and then hesitate, then spin up and hesitate when I gave it throttle. So I brought it home. I worked on it and thought I got it working well. Took it back out and flew it yesterday. And let me show you what it's doing now. It's actually kind of cool because if I wanted to, I could say I was doing all these tricks, but then I'd be lying. So let's see which. I think this one here. All right. So let me stop this.
I agree with you, Brad.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah, I agree with you Brad, Dennis.
It's a
more like PT.
They should have
PLA.
called it soft PLA or something. Yeah, because it's not what it says it is.
All right, so let me. Okay, so I'm gonna play it here. Oh, come on. Here.
Hey, JDS.
Hey, you can fix stuff, John. Good morning. So it seems to be doing pretty good right now, but watch here shortly. I didn't do that. That wasn't me.
It just wanted to do it.
It just flipped. I don't know, but watch this.
Wow.
Oh my!
Yeah, that
Wow.
wasn't me either. As
You
much
lost
as
a lot of height on
I
that
claim
move.
to be that good.
It wanted to do 3D.
That thing came down fast.
Let me show you how. Oh wow. Let me show you how I can do 3D.
Now, isn't that a neat trick? You know,
That's very interesting. What would make that do that?
well, Rodney is suggesting that I could probably find out in the black box, so I may have to get on to figure out how to read the black box. So it was after that crash on the ground that I decided to come back. So that's what it's doing now.
That's
I'm going to have to go, Rodney. So thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
No problem, Dennis. You're always welcome, buddy. In fact, I consider you a regular.
Oh, thanks. All right. Well, you have a good week, everybody, and all the people in the chat. Sorry, I haven't been very sociable, but love you all, and I'll see you later.
Stay safe.
You have
man.
a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See, so let me see. Brad says, "Yeah, I use real TPU on my."
You can only use nothing else. Can't use both at the same time. I guess they don't. They just won't glue together, or you know what I mean, melt together.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense, Rod. So, yeah, so that's this. So this is one of the ones I'm going to work on. What I may end up doing, and then this stack is rather old. I may end up just buying a whole new stack, but we'll see. I want to try and see if I can fix this one, and then this one here is the one I showed you earlier. Is the one I working on later. See how small those components are?
I know it's just incredible. I mean, Rodney, I've got a ring that tells me everything: my blood pressure, my heart rate, my sleep habits, how many steps I walk a day, everything, all in this one little ring. And I'm like, that's scary. How how it can be.
Yeah, it is. Electronics nowadays are incredibly small. The components. So,
well, the weird thing is all this is built inside of the ring, and you're like, how? I mean, you've got a ring right there. It's not like you're going directly to it.
I mean, you know what a microprocessor looks like, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, that is just one silicon chip. that everything is etched into, and all the electronic properties are instilled into it. And I've actually seen these things getting made, because back in '98 I was working for Eaton Semiconductor Operations.
Yeah, I know what you're
Working
talking
on ion implanters, which they use to implant like arsine and phosphorus into the silicon to give it its electronic properties. An amazing process, these fabs. But anyway,
yeah.
there's like on a microprocessor, there could be 1 billion transistors on there. And most processors aren't but about that big square, right? That's not even a good example, but anyway, so it's quite amazing. It really is.
It is.
Captain Joe, USA Drone Flyer.
Hey, Cap. P-Shat. Now he's calling me P-Shat.
So hey, let me do this. I'm gonna do this. If anybody wants to pop on here, here is the link. Please feel free to pop in. I'm only going to leave that up for about 30 seconds. So catch it while you can.
Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding.
I was hoping Johnny was going to be able to pop back in, but he might not be able to.
Yeah, it looks like they had a great time.
Oh, it did. Jumping off those cliffs, that's something I did as a kid in Oklahoma.
Well, Smith Lake's got a bunch of them, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's
Lake Fort Gibson. There's a place called Rocky Point, and me and I was in high school working at a summer camp, YMCA camp, and this weekend we took a canoe and a sailboat, and 4 of us went camping. And at this Rocky Point, there are some cliffs like what Johnny's showed in his videos, so you could jump off of. And that was so much fun. Lance, good morning.
Good morning, Lance.
I'm sure there's people I haven't said good morning to. Jim, good morning. Mad Props Media Unlimited Vertical. John, good morning. I thought I saw Flying Flynn in here earlier. John can fix stuff. Our Canadian friend.
Hey.
Morning, Rod.
Hello.
Hey, Rod.
So I can help you with that, Rodney. You can either send me the black box logs, or we could do like a screen share if you want to load them up, and I'll look at them with you. But I know exactly what's probably happening.
That might be a good idea.
I can.
It'll have to be later today. I can't do it after the live stream. I've got things I need to get done, but later today I can reach out to you.
Yeah, whenever. So just remember to plug it into Betaflight, clear the black box data, and then go fly it. And then I'll show you how to, if you don't know how to pull the black box log file off, I can show you how to do that in Betaflight. And then I'll show you where the black box reader is so that you can read it. It's probably one of two things. It could be that motor / ESC, right? Where it sort of stops spinning the motor, or it's not spinning as fast. So what's happening is, because this is what happened on my Curse drone, it took me a month to figure out that it was vibrations. It would just flip itself into the ground. So you'll be able to tell in the black box whether the gyro is doing something weird, which is what happened to me. In the data, you could see the gyro was actually all of a sudden was just upside down, and then it would try to flip the drone over. if it's that motor ESC, what we'll see in the black box is we'll see the RPMs come down on that motor. The gyro will still sort of be level, and the RPMs will all of a sudden just drop on that motor, because if that's what's happening, is Beta Flight at that point is trying to correct the drone, which is why you saw the flip. And that motor must be spinning back up. Otherwise, they'd never get it leveled back out again, and it would just tumble out of control.
Yeah.
So it's one of those two.
Yeah. So Brad's asking you if you've lost more weight, and then Boo, I gotta say, you have lost a little weight there, kiddo.
You have, Rod.
109 pounds. Let me tell you what, let me find, I've got a picture that I can send you. And yeah, you'll see.
Joel, good morning.
Good morning, Joel. Again.
So it's on Messenger, Rodney.
Man,
Holy moly. That's not the Rod I know.
I'm a lot healthier.
don't show us, Rod.
Yeah.
Hey, if I got to look at it, you got to look at it, Philip.
Oh no. Okay, go ahead. Oh wow.
Looking good, dude. Looking good.
Yep. It's been a long journey.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, you're a lot skinnier there than you were at the meetup this year.
Yeah, I lost more weight. Yeah. Some.
Good job.
I weigh less than when I retired in 2005 from the Army. By quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, I agree with Randy. You lose any more weight and you're going to be turned inside out.
Yeah, so the interesting part,
I am assuming that you are now at a weight that you're comfortable with.
I'm not quite where I want to be. I got 2 goals and I'm not far from either one of them.
Okay.
So I need about another 7 pounds, which will put me at 100 pounds on the program that I'm at. Because they have these little circles and they make everybody sign them. It's like every 10 pounds. They don't have a 100-pound thing up there. So I want to hit the 100-pound thing so I can be the only guy on the 100-pound circle on their board. And I'm this close, so I might as well get there. The other, which is 206, is where I need to hit for that. And then the Army weight limit for 6 foot was 205. So I kind of really want to hit that 205 number because I haven't been that weight since, holy cow, let's see here. I joined in 80, probably in the late 80s. This is the last time I was that low. So personal goals, and then we'll start easing off and trying to level it all out.
Well, good job so far.
Yeah, very good. Because 5 years ago I was at 205. Now I'm at 230. So it's time for me to figure something out.
It's what happened when I retired from the Army. Part of it is I've had 13 knee surgeries. I had to go through a medical board at year 18 just to not get pushed out, medically discharged. So it's all in my records. But, you know, when I finally hit retirement, my body just freaking hurt. And I sat down because I didn't need to pass a PT test anymore. And I immediately put like 50 pounds on in a year. I went from like 250 to 300, and that's kind of where I stayed.
That's
Arthritis is a pain in the butt.
I met an Italian woman. That's what happened to me.
Nah, I gotcha. Yeah. The one thing I will say, and I will encourage you, because it's what I did, and to be honest, I think everybody would benefit from doing it. There's a place here in Daytona called the Metabolic Research Center. They have multiple offices around, but it's kind of a weight loss center kind of thing. And, but they give you the food program and some of the medicines and some of the natural herbal stuff to use and all that kind of stuff. And, I encourage everybody, go find a place like that. And part of it is, you have to go in once a week and weigh. And eventually it kind of sinks into your head, and that weigh-in is coming. And it's just one of those ways of sort of holding yourself responsible for it. And then the other part of it is it takes a good 6 months at least before you really break some of those food habits and you get really comfortable with sort of eating healthier, so to speak. And, I have people now try to go, hey, you want to eat? Nope, I don't want that. It'd be great. It'd be tasty. But I literally, and there's not even the slightest bit of doubt in my mind of, nope, I'm not going to eat it. And I just refuse. But it takes that kind of a program and being on it long enough to sort of break the food habit in your head.
Well, do you find yourself sometimes eating just a little bit of that portion instead of all that portion?
So just as an example, like rice as an example, one would think rice is actually pretty healthy, but lots of carbs in rice.
Oh yeah.
So, I may get something like chicken and rice in it because she convinces me that, I should eat this, but, I'll tend to eat just a little bit of it. I won't eat all of it, kind of thing. And then generally, if I've eaten something that's not normally really on my diet, like a sandwich or something like that, then I will cut back sort of on the next meal kind of thing. So you learn to sort of balance it out, right?
Yeah.
You'll eat something that's kind of not there and then compensate for it on the other end. Like eat a salad for my next dinner or something like that. So it just takes time.
Yeah, it does. And your mind, you're right. It's a mind control type thing. And you have to, if you don't mind, it doesn't mind either. So, your mind's very mindful.
Yeah. And, most people end up failing on the diet simply because of that reason, right? And they expect, in some cases, expect results way too soon. And so it's kind of one of those, then they give up kind of thing. And that's why absolutely. I say, find one of those programs and let them help hold you accountable, and you'll start holding yourself accountable. And you will find eventually that you don't need anybody else to tell you don't eat that. You will tell yourself, don't eat that.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife's been doing the shot, and she's lost close to about 30 pounds. And she was wondering about me doing it and everything. I told her, let's just let you do yours first, and then I'll start doing mine later on. That way we're not stretched out money wise.
Oh yeah. And that's the other part of finding one of those programs. And that was part of what attracted me to it was they actually compound that stuff themselves. So those shots are a massive, the shots are like $300.
Yeah.
Instead of being like $1,600
yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's the other part of joining one of those programs. But here's the other part of that with the shots. You can't keep eating what you're eating. Just take the shot. It's not some magical, you're just going to lose weight by taking those things. It's a lifestyle and a diet change.
Well,
in addition to.
Yeah, because when she does it, she drinks wine, and when she does the shot, she can't drink wine. She has to go to something else. So
Barkley, my God, Barkley.
Good morning, Barkley.
yeah.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong. So this is the rocket drone, and I've put a new flight control on it, and you can see the cap is actually going up this time. Part of the reason it can, I've reorganized what's in the top half of the drone. So notice that there's only an ESC there on the frame. Normally you have the entire stack. You have the flight controller sitting on top of the ESC.
You separate the stack.
I separated the stack. I moved the receiver, which was on the bottom side of a piece of carbon that's in the top of that thing, which gave me room to actually put the flight controller on that piece of carbon instead of on the stack. This Darwin is waterproof, so there's no plugs on the board. It's all wires. So I can make the wires long enough to put the flight controller up. The problem with what I had is, you can see here, it was running the old one, the cap and the pigtail were running through that hole, which is how Chris Rosser said to build it. And the battery is kind of in the bottom half of that rocket. And what happened is when it came down, the battery bounced kind of thing, and that pushed that pigtail. And the pushing of that pigtail is what sort of broke that leg on the capacitor. And as soon as that leg broke, it spiked. It got an electrical spike, and that's what popped that flight control. That's the first one I've seen that I've had where it actually burned. I've had a flight controller go bad, but I could never see the actual damage.
I thought it was
the ESC. Sorry, the ESC. It popped the ESC. Yeah. Misspoke there.
Brad says, "Okay, now I'm hungry."
but literally the cap breaking is what caused the electrical spike that the ESC couldn't handle. And Chris Rosser, literally yesterday, if you don't watch Chris Rosser, you need to watch Chris Rosser, but literally yesterday he released a video on electrical spikes. He did a bunch of tests with caps and the F-Tech diodes thing and everything else, and rather interesting how high, if you don't have a capacitor in there, how bloody high the voltage can spike up. So anyways, I'm redoing it with this Darwin FPV stack.
So do me a favor, that video you were just talking about, can you message me the link?
Yeah. I'll send it over to you.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm fixing to post Chris Rosser's page.
Oh yeah, if you got it, you can send.
There it is, right there.
Send that link. It was yesterday. He released that video yesterday.
All right, I'll check it out.
He's also the guy that where I found that grease, that vibration grease that helped me fix my little 3-inch curse drone that I call my curse drone, because it took me a month to figure out why the hell it was falling out of the sky. But that's the other thing, Rodney. Not only have I learned to use the black box, I now have PID Toolbox, which is Brian White, that guy. You should subscribe to that channel too. But I've learned to use PID Toolbox now to do tuning. So I can actually do my own PID tuning now. But I'm a computer software guy anyway, so that stuff comes natural to me.
Thanks, B-Brad. that person that you know is me. That's why I've already removed the link. So, but anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this one.
I don't know what I'm gonna do the rest of the day now.
Well, do you have nice weather?
For right now, I mean, they're calling for storms this evening and tomorrow storms, Monday storms, rain all next week, off and on.
So the rocket is one project, and my Kirsch drone is my other project. I have to take it apart because the bloody USB port isn't working on this flight controller. So I had tuned my purple version of this drone, and I wanted to put that tune on this drone. Could not get the USB. It's got an external. I tried that, didn't work. Because the board is slanted, the one that's actually on the board is the frame's in the way. So I took it apart so I could get plugged into that one. It still wouldn't work. So I was like, to hell with that. To hell with that. I'm just going to put a new flight controller on it. So that's my other project. And I've lost track of how many drones I've built, Rodney. It's 8, 9. It's a lot of drones I've built in the last.
I remember you saying one time, telling me that you were never going to get into FPV.
Yeah, I know. And then I said I was never going to fix my own because I had Maddie to fix them.
I also recall that I pretty much said the same thing. Once you get into it,
yeah, there's no going back.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, Rod, Philip, I hope you both have a nice day, a great weekend.
Yep.
And just everybody
just ping me when you're ready later.
I will. It'll probably be within the next 3 or 4 hours because I'm not going to be doing much today. So, but I'm still saying I'm not getting into FPV. Oh, B-Rad, you're flying in Nevada.
He's got Nevada. I'm telling you, he's going to get there.
You're flying that Avada FPV, and even though it may not be the FPV that me and Rod are talking about, it's still FPV, brother. You're already into
it. It's the stepping stone, which is what I saw it for when I saw the Avada 1 originally. I kind of knew that it was that stepping stone in between, and it is.
So, all right, fellas. Well, everybody in chat, you all have a great day. Don't forget tomorrow morning, the Sunday Sunrise Cruise, starting with me here in Virginia. I almost said Florida. Going to Dennis Lovelady in Georgia, and then hopping over to Texas with Chris Hope. And then following Chris Hope will be Johnny Drone Flyer with Drones and Coffee. I know he's going to be going live tomorrow because he's already got the announcement up on YouTube. So if you go to you go to Johnny Drone Flyers and goes to his live stream, you'll see it. Mountain Dew Zero.
No coffee. Mountain Dew.
This one's blackberry.
Ooh, that looks yummy. I got to find that one.
It's pretty good. I'm surprised. I'd rather be All right, guys. Have a great day, everybody. Love you all.
We'll see y'all.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.